Begin in an elbow plank. This is a great warm-up for further strengthening. Tuck your glutes under and squeeze your glutes together. Your shoulders should be directly over your elbows. Shift your weight slightly forward. Pretend there's a mesh layer from your pelvis to your chest and it's pulling up and knitting your ribs together and pulling your belly button to your spine, making sure that there's no sagging or swaying in your lower back. Transition onto your left elbow and your left knee. Raise your top leg. Squeeze your glutes together and push your hips forward without swaying your lower back. Stack your shoulders and stack your hip, one on top of the other. Keep integrity throughout your core, pulling your abdominals in and pushing your hips forward and squeezing your glutes. After 15 reps, transition into your left side plank, single arm triceps. Your left arm wraps across your chest and holds onto the backside of your right shoulder. Your right hand is directly in front of your left shoulder. Keep that right leg raised and parallel to the floor. Fully extend your right arm and then lower to barely tap the top of the left shoulder. Keep your abdominal core pulled in and your top leg parallel to the floor. Perform 15 repetitions. Transition back into your second set of your left side plank with your leg lifts, remembering to stack your shoulders, stacking your hips. Push your hips forward without swaying your lower back and squeeze your glutes together. As this gets harder, your form can become compromised. Focus and keep your glutes squeezed together and your hips pushed forward. After 15 reps, transition into your hand plank mountain climbers. Shoulders directly over the hands. Tuck your hips under and squeeze your glutes together. Take your right knee to your left elbow and tack it on, and then take it right back to where it was, and then your left knee to your right elbow. Making sure that you have your shoulders directly over your hands. Repeat 5 on each side. Next, you'll transition into your right side plank with your top leg lifts, stacking your shoulders and stacking your hips, squeezing your glutes and pushing your hips forward without swaying the lower back. Raise and lower that top leg, making sure that you find the form before you even begin to raise your leg. When you get tired, remember your hips will begin to sag. Keep things squeezing and pushing forward. Repeat 15 times. From here, you'll transition into your right side plank with your single arm triceps. Taking your right arm, wrap it across your chest and hold on to the back side of your left shoulder. Your left hand is directly in front of your right shoulder. Fully extend your left arm and then lower it to barely tap the top of your right shoulder. Keep your top leg lifted. And repeat 15 repetitions. Transition into your second set of your right side plank with your top leg lifts. Stack your shoulders and stack your hips. Squeeze your glutes together and press your hips forward without swaying your lower back. And as you get tired, sometimes the hips can sag. Think quality over quantity and keep your hips pushing forward and squeezing your glutes together. Set yourself up for success for each repetition. Perform 15 repetitions. From here, transition into your modified Spider-Man. It's your hand plank, right knee to right elbow, tack it on, and then left knee to left elbow. Return to the plank position, each time returning and making sure that you're tucking the hips under, squeezing the glutes together with the shoulders directly over those hands. Repeat 5 repetitions each side. From here, transition to your bridge. Laying on your back with your feet hip-width apart, walk your shoulders underneath you as you lift your hips and hold into an isometric hold of 30 seconds. Tuck your hips and squeeze your glutes together, creating a diagonal line going up from the upper back to the back of the knees. Being deliberate in your form here. When you get tired and your hips want to drop, making sure that you squeeze your glutes together and lift your hips higher, having integrity in your form. From here, transition into your planked push-ups. Pay attention to that planked form the whole time. Dropping to your knees at any point when you feel a break in your form. Quality over quantity. Exhale on exertion. That means exhale on your way up and inhale on your way down. Perform 10 repetitions. From here, you'll transition all the way down, face down, and then raise up into your Supermans. You're thinking about lifting your feet, using your glutes to raise your feet off of the ground, including your knees and part of your quads, and then taking a break for 5 seconds. You'll raise back up, also thinking about your upper body as those hands come off the ground, squeezing your shoulder blades down your back and squeeze them together. Find the strength through the mid back and the upper back, and then a pause. And then you'll repeat that one more time. You'll do 3 repetitions of 10 seconds each with a 5-second break. From here, you'll transition into your narrow bridge or dead bugs, laying on your back. Super glue your feet, your knees, and your inner thighs together and raise your hips off the ground. Tuck your hips and squeeze your glutes together. Your arms are raised over your chest and hands are together. You'll maintain form by thinking of squeezing your glutes and inner thighs together and tucking harder and harder as the set gets longer. And you'll hold for 30 seconds, maintaining that diagonally straight line. From here, transition into your toe or knee planked triceps push-ups, maintaining integrity throughout the core, tucking the hips under. Elbows go straight behind you. If you need to, drop to your knees to maintain quality over quantity. You can also drop down on your toes and come up on your knees and perform 10 repetitions. From here, dropping all the way down to the floor and then raising the feet and the hands into the air using the glutes to keep the feet off the ground and also your shoulder blades squeezing together, and then rest for 5 seconds. And then bringing the feet and the hands back up into the air. Gaze is 1 to 2 feet in front of you. Thinking squeezing the glutes and the shoulder blades, and then resting back down for 5 more seconds. And then once again coming up, keeping the knees off of the ground, the entire arms off of the ground, and then resting. Transition into your overhead split squats with your right foot forward, maintaining a wide stance, and on the left toe, never putting your heel down. Your front knee stays behind your toes as you lower and lift, and use your right glutes as you press the whole foot into the ground and even grip with the big toe as you raise back up. Keep your arms over your head the entire time and perform 10 repetitions. From here, transitioning into your right leg single leg balance with your right leg slightly bent and your left leg long behind you. Rotating your left hip down so that your lower back is parallel to the ground. And then dropping your hands to the ground in your supported stork stance with left leg lifts. Perform 10 lifts with the left leg. Keep your right leg slightly bent, using the glute on the left side to help raise and lower that leg, and keeping your hips squared off. Transition into your left leg forward overhead split squat with a wide stance and your left foot in front and your right foot behind on the toes of your back foot, keeping your knee behind your toe. Perform 10 repetitions using your left glutes to bring you up. Transitioning into your left leg single leg balance with your left leg slightly bent, your right leg is long, and then dropping those hands to the ground and raising and lowering your right leg into the air using your glutes, and then stabilizing with that left leg that's on the ground that's slightly bent. Perform 10 repetitions here. From here, transition into your right foot forward overhead split squat with forward balance. It's the same as before, but push off your back toe and use your full front foot, including cupping the big toe, to engage the lower muscles in the leg. Place your back toe all the way back to the starting position to set yourself up for success for your next repetition. Always on the toe and never on the heel on the back foot. Perform 10 repetitions. From here, transition into that right foot forward, leg balance, keeping the hips squared off and the left leg long behind you, right leg slightly bent, and then drop the hands to the ground and extend that left leg behind you, keeping the hips squared off. From here, you'll transition back into the left foot forward overhead split squat with forward balance. And just as before, maintaining contact with that left foot in front, onto the toe on the back foot. Use the glute of the left to bring you forward. Cup the toe on the left. Find your balance in between each repetition and set yourself up for success by being on the toe on the back foot. Perform 10 repetitions. And then from here, extending that leg behind you. In the left leg balance, the right leg is long, the left leg is slightly bent. And then bringing the hands back down to the ground and extending that right leg behind you. Left leg slightly bent and hips squared off. The last exercise is the Malasana squat. With your feet wide and your toes pointing outward, drop your pelvis down. Maintain a flat back and press the backs of your hands against your inner thighs. I'll turn to the side so that you can see the flat back. Without rounding your shoulders, maintain this form. Use your adductors for strength and balance, and keep your knees behind your toes. Keep breathing throughout all 30 seconds. And slowly come up, and you're finished.